Hi guys, Infinity Recaps here. Today I'm going to explain an American science fiction and drama movie called Alita Battle Angel. Before we start, please make sure to subscribe. In 2563, 300 years after the Earth was devastated by the catastrophic war known as the Fall, there is a sky city called Salem. Meanwhile, scientist Dr. Dyson Ido discovers a disembodied female cyborg with an intact human brain. While scavenging for parts in the massive scrapyard of Iron City just below the Sky City, he decides to take the cyborg home to repair her. At home, Dyson attaches a new cyborg body to the brain. A few days later, the cyborg wakes up and she is amazed to see her new body. She immediately goes downstairs to see Dr. Dyson, who has finished repairing the local cyborgs for free. After that, Dr. Dyson invites the cyborg to have a meal together. As they eat, it is revealed that the cyborg cannot remember her past, and she has also forgotten her own name. Dr. Dyson asks her to look around. The cyborg is instantly dumbfounded after seeing Zale imploding above the clouds. Dr. Dyson then names her Alita after his deceased daughter. He explains that Iron City was founded because many humans leave by scavenging the technological waste that is thrown away by Salem. Iron City is also governed by Salem officials, and no one can enter Salem except to become the champion of the motorball, a rollerball-like racing sport played by cyborg gladiators. Later, she befriends Hugo after he saved her from having an accident. He dreams of moving to the wealthy sky city of Zalen. He is impressed by Alita's cyborg body because everyone in the city admires Dr. Dyson. On the other hand, it seems that Alita also likes Hugo. At night, there is a woman walking alone in the hallway. Suddenly, something that looks like a robot kills her from behind. At the same time, Alita wakes up from her sleep and peeks at Dr. Dyson, who just comes home with a wound on his hand. The next day, Alita accompanies Dr. Dyson and his assistant to repair a cyborg. The cyborg discusses the murder case that happened last night. He says that the killer mutilated the victim's body to sell. As a result, Dr. Dyson advises Alita not to go out at night because Iron City is very dangerous. As Alita walks out of her house, she meets Chiron, who recognizes Alita's cyborg body. Apparently, she was Dr. Dyson's estranged ex-wife. It is revealed that Chiron has been wanting to go to Zalen with the help of Vector, owner of the motorball tournament. Therefore, she persuades Dr. Dyson to create the best cyborg with her to win the motorball. However, he refuses the persuasion and anoints Chiron leaves him straight away, and gets into a car with Vector in it. Meanwhile, Alita and Hugo play motorball with their friends. At first, it is difficult for her to play the game, but over time, she gets used to it, and eventually she is able to win the game. Hugo buys her a chocolate as a present. Then he takes her to his favorite spot above an old church to get a good look at Salem. Alita also says that she was found by Dr. Dyson in the scrapyard under Zalen, which means she might be from Zalen, but still cannot remember anything about it. One night, Alita fails to fall asleep because she notices that Dr. Dyson is leaving the house quietly while carrying a large suitcase. She decides to follow him to find out where is he going in the middle of the night. Shortly after, Alita sees him taking out his weapon from the suitcase to ambush a woman who is walking alone. Because of that, Alita immediately stops him from committing murder, causing the woman to disappear somewhere. Suddenly, a large man appears from behind and he calls Dr. Dyson a hunter warrior, which confuses Alita even more. After that, another man jumps down from the rooftop and begins threatening the two of them. Turns out they are a gang of criminal cyborgs who like to kill humans, including the woman who disappeared earlier. Dr. Dyson begins to attack the cyborg and manages to cut off one of his arms. But the cyborg is able to strike back right away, knocking Dr. Dyson to the floor. Amazingly, Alita jumps towards the cyborg and kicks him to the ground, killing him in the end. Now is the time for the female cyborg to attack Alita using her blades. Eventually, Alita also manages to jump towards the cyborg and kicks her right on the head, breaking her neck as her body drops on the ground. The large man finally reveals that his name is Gruishka and immediately tries to punch Alita using immense power. But then again, Alita is able to dodge it and cuts off a cyborg's arm in a single kick. The giant cyborg is forced to escape into the sewers after Alita, knocking him backwards using Dr. Dyson's hammer. Afterwards, Gruishka promises to come back and hunt down Alita. Alita goes with Dr. Dyson towards the factory. He explains that there are no police in Iron City but the factory that pays bounty hunters to kill criminals. It turns out, the name of Ido's deceased daughter was Alita. The robotic body was initially built for Ido's late daughter, real Alita, because she was wheelchair-bound. Real Alita never had a chance to use it as she was killed by a cyber robber who broke into Ido's clinic looking for drugs. Ido's partner was Chiron, who is also real Alita's mother. Ido and Chiron separated after the real Alita died. Since then, he tries to find the man who is responsible for his daughter's death. When Chiron wakes up from her bed suddenly, Gruishka breaks into her room through the window. It turns out that he works for Sharon and also Vector. Gruishka reports that Dr. Dyson has adopted a cyborg girl and she is responsible for killing his entire team. Sharon tries to repair Gruishka straight away, but at the same time he is controlled by another great power who speaks through him to Chiron and Vector. Vector immediately recognizes the power is Nova, a powerful figure from Salem who orders them to kill Alita and bring her body for experimentation. Nova also controls Vector and promises Chiron to bring her back to Zellum if she does exactly what he says in the future. Meanwhile, Alita goes with Hugo to the motor ball, where they can see the fighters in the ring destroy each other using their respective skills to obtain the ball. She also learns that a fighter can become the final champion by beating everyone continuously, and the final champion is given the privilege of going to Zalem. In the middle of their conversation, Hugo's friends suddenly come and say that they have some urgent work. Therefore, Hugo says goodbye to Alita and rushes off in a hurry. After a while, one of the motorball champions is attacked by a group of men and he is held hostage in the vehicle where they cut off a champion's hand by force. It is revealed that the group's leader is Hugo, who also works under Vector as he supplies weapons while receiving cash. In return, the group leaves the champion's body with Vector saying that he cannot let anyone be the final champion, killing him at the end. The following day, Hugo and his friends bring Alita away from Iron City to a lake in front of a very large warship. It turns out that the warship is from United Republic of Mars, who attacked the Earth 300 years ago. On the other hand, Alita feels a sudden connection towards the warship and tries to go inside, hoping it may reveal the truth about her past. She arrives at the weapon room, where she finds a highly advanced cyborg body. She decides to bring the body towards Dr. Dyson. She wants him to combine her with a new body because it will allow her to fight off the impending threats. However, Dr. Dyson refuses to install her in it. As a result, Alita feels frustrated and she registers herself as a hunter-warrior. At the Kansas bar where all the hunters are gathered, Alita and Hugo are unable to recruit other hunter-warriors to help her take down Gruishka. However, a cyborg hunter-warrior bully named Zapin provokes Alita. Therefore, she severely beats him in a fight, triggering a chaotic bar brawl. Luckily, Dr. Dyson arrives at the bar and stops everyone by threatening to not give out any free repairs. Suddenly, an upgraded Gruishka appears and challenges Alita to a duel, revealing that he has been sent by Nova to destroy her. Despite her excellent combat skills, Alita's body is ultimately damaged by Gruishka. Fortunately, Dr. Dyson and his team arrives just in time, forcing Gruishka to retreat again. Dr. Dyson takes Alita back to the laboratory. He apologizes and transplants her into the new cyborg body. The results are better than expected, as Alita demonstrates incredible abilities after she equipped the new body, which also amazes Dr. Dyson. Meanwhile, Nova possesses Vector once again to see that Gruishka has failed to defeat Alita. He decides to implement a different strategy against her. After that, Vector meets with Hugo and asks him about Alita by promising to send him to Zalem if he succeeds in convincing Alita to join Motorball. The next morning, Hugo convinces Alita to join Motorball, saying that she can make enough money for both of them to go to Zalem. Alita agrees without thinking that she has fallen in love with him. On the other side, Zapin is watching them from afar because he wants a revenge for what she did earlier. At night, Alita prepares to join the Motorball tryout with the help of Dr. Dyson, who tells her to be careful in the tournament. At the same time, Vector tells other fighters to destroy Alita and promises to give them a large amount of money for the killer. When Alita arrives at the stadium, Ido discovers that the other contestants are hunter-warriors and other cyborgs hired by Vector to kill her. He tells her to quit the match, but she refused. Once the match starts, Alita moves quickly and grabs the ball and hit the first guy, making him to fall and explode. As the hunter struggles to kill her, she uses every chance she gets to eliminate anyone that gets close. Meanwhile, Zapin is plotting his revenge against Hugo and Alita. Zapin caught Hugo and his friend Tanji while they are stealing cyborg parts. Zapin kills Tanji and frames Hugo for murdering the cyborg they were taking parts from. Now Hugo has a bounty on his head, and all hunter-warriors are looking for him. While Alita is in Motorball race, Hugo is trying to escape from Zapin. Hugo calls Alita and tells her to meet him at the abandoned church. She tells him that she is coming and jump through a TV screen with the hunters following her. As Alita runs, she jumps from a building, but one of the hunters cut her on the leg while the other one tries to cut her with the blade on his hand, but she manages to escape by jumping up, making him to cut the other one. Alita grabs the chain and throws it inside an engine and eliminates all of the hunters. Alita arrives at the church just in the right time. She immediately stops Zapin from killing Hugo, but she becomes shocked after she sees a bounty on Hugo's head. Hugo tries to explain that he was framed, but Alita is still hard to forgive him. Using the opportunity, Zapin stabs Hugo in the stomach, causing Alita to cry and carry him into the church. Hugo feels sorry for everything he did as he realizes that he loves Alita more than his desire to go to Zalem. In the meantime, Sharon, who has changed her mind about working for Vector, arrives at the church and offers to help save Hugo by attaching his severed head to Alita's life support system. A few moments later, Alita comes out while carrying Hugo's head. When Zappin sees through the trick and attempts to stop Alita, she seizes his blade and injures him in the face. Back in Dr. Dyson's place, he transplants Hugo's head onto a cyborg body and tells Alita the Vector's offer to help Hugo reach Salem was a lie. He believes that the citizens of Iron City cannot enter Salem without becoming a motorball champion. Soon, Alita storms the factory and confronts Vector. He immediately summons Grishka to stop her attack, but Alita's new nanotech body allows her to self-repair and easily destroy him. Afterwards, she demands Vector to show her Nova. When Nova threatens to harm her family and her friends, Alita kills Vector in anger and warns him not to underestimate her. After a while, she receives a message from Dr. Dyson, who tells her that Hugo has left to climb a cargo tube towards Salem. Alita runs into him immediately and pleads with him to return with her because this is a trap that Nova has set for both of them. He eventually agrees, but it is too late as Acerated defense ring dropped by Nova rushes towards them. He tries to jump over the ring, but sadly it cuts off his body and throws him off the tube. Alita is able to catch him in the moment, but she cannot pull him up as his arm begins breaking apart. Hugo thanks her for saving his life before falling to his death. Months later, after Hugo's death, Alita continues to battle in Motorball, becoming a rising superstar in the tournament. She goes to the stage where everyone is cheering for her name and pledges vengeance by pointing her plasma charge sword towards Salem, whereupon Nova looks back at her from above. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.